Let's now give you a sense of the very latest in the world of business. The JSE is slightly weaker, with global peers mixed. Investors continue to worry about stagnation after the World Bank cut its forecast for global economic expansion. Viv Govender, portfolio manager at Rand Swiss, joins us now for an update on the latest market news. A very good afternoon to you. Thank you for your time. Give us a sense of how the markets are performing so far in trade today.
Well, it's quite an unusual day. If you look across the market, it's pretty much red, but there's one outstanding difference, which is Naspers, which is basically up about 10% almost. This is because Tencent in China got a reprieve with regards to some of its gaming licenses from the government. Tencent has been under a huge amount of pressure from the Chinese government over the last couple of years, with games being held off, with the rules changing around, when, where, and how you can play video games in China. So we have seen that company, come down quite significantly. It's obviously affected Naspers share price. Naspers basically gets its entire value effectively from Tencent. You could basically look at the Naspers holding of Tencent, and that accounts for more than the entire share value of the company at the moment. So if the Tencent does well, as it has been doing because of this, result from the Chinese government, we are seeing Naspers go up, and because Naspers is a big part of our index, we've seen our overall index pretty much flat, even though most sectors are down.
And oil prices drifted higher today, anticipating a report of low U.S. oil stocks. Are there any other factors perhaps driving trade?
I think also the Chinese again, just not just Chinese announcement, but the Chinese, had that huge, crazy lockdown for the last couple of months in Shanghai and surrounding areas. We're talking about 100+ million people being affected. And remember, this is not a lockdown like we in South Africa experienced. This is a proper lockdown. You were literally locked in your house. If you got outside, you would be taken away in a van by some, rather scary policemen. They were, locked in for effectively a couple of months, not able to do activity, made a huge impact on Chinese total, production, etc. And now that they're being removed, we are seeing, Chinese demand for oil returning, and that's also helping the price rise a bit.
And the RMB BR Business Confidence Index has dropped from 46 to 42 basis points in the second quarter. Talk us through some of the factors influencing that decline.
Well, I think if you look at the GDP number that just came out recently for the first quarter, we saw an increase that was higher than expected, 1.9 versus 1.2% for the first quarter. In fact, we just broke past that barrier. We had basically just gotten back to where we were in early 2020. Just before the pandemic, effectively. So we just grew just faster than that. However, what's happened recently with Russia, with the oil price going up, has meant that sentiment has decreased quite significantly in the last 3 months or so. Remember, the Russian invasion happened at the end of February, and March had some of it. But now we're starting to see the real impact. Oil prices hitting multi-year highs, inflation really coming through, and things like food and so on. I think that's also affecting us with regards to what the business sentiment out there looks at the moment.
And Australia's Southern Palladium has begun trading on the JSE today. Perhaps tell us more about the firm and whether or not this is a vote of confidence in the index amid the recent delistings.
Yeah, look, this is obviously a bit of positivity coming through. The fact of the matter is that the JSE has lost quite a number of listings in the last little while. And that's, obviously an important, thing for any index. You want to have a nice big variation of different things. You want some tech stocks, some health stocks, some, resource stocks, so that an investor in this local market is able to go and get a nice diversified, exposure to the different sectors, and they're not too concentrated. Unfortunately, we've lost quite a bit, like I said, hundreds of stocks being delisted over the last few years. So we are looking at a situation in which this add-on is good. That being said, we already have quite a large platinum palladium exposure in South Africa. We already have quite a bit of that out there. So it really doesn't make too much of a difference for local investors, because if you wanted to have like an exposure, there's Amplus, there's Implus, there's a couple other companies out there that you could do that with. It might help with regards to international investors having one more palladium play. I think palladium has been doing quite well recently because don't forget that Russia is one of the biggest producers of platinum and platinum group metals in the world. And effectively right now with the sanctions, they're out of the market. So that's kind of helping us in South Africa with the fact that we're the one producer in the world of platinum and platinum group metals. It really helps us. And palladium, of course, is one of those platinum group metals.
Very well. Thank you so much. Thanks for weighing in on the very latest in the world of business. Viv Govender, Portfolio Manager at Rand Swiss, giving us an idea of what the markets are looking like now.